Good morning, everybody. It is 11 o'clock on Tuesday morning, and I am here to share with you some thoughts on how you'll start your journey pack will transform your future, your lives, the lives of your families, the lives of your loved ones. And it's a real pleasure to be able to take the next kind of 30 minutes with you to share that information. Just going to wait a couple of minutes for various people to log on. Numbers are creeping up very quickly, which is great. I hope wherever you are around the UK, you're staying safe and are not too confused by all the new rules from various governing bodies in various areas. Here in Wales, we're in 3 weeks more lockdown, whereas in England, I think you're a little bit more flexible in what you can do. Anyway, regardless of that, wherever you are, I hope that you are all safe and well. Now, there's going to be many new people on this call today. So what I'm going to do, if I can, and apologies for all of those that know me, I'm just going to share a little bit about my story before I go into maybe giving you some ideas on start your journey pack. I've been in Forever now for 26 years. Can you believe that? 26 years. And to be honest, I'm as excited today as I was when I very, very first started my business. Yeah, the business today the potential is phenomenal. And for all of you that are new on this call, I hope that you are so excited about what you've got your hands on, because seriously, it's such a magical time in Forever from all sorts of angles. And I'll cover some of those in a minute for you. Before I started my journey in Forever, my background was in farming, large farm estate management. I was running a 3,000-acre estate and also horses. I was on the back of a horse most days, and it was a great way of life. You know, I was very privileged. I was outdoors each and every day. You know, I wasn't restricted to an office. I didn't have a commute. It was a lovely way of life, but I came to a crossroads in my life, and we all come to these inevitable crossroads at some point in our life, where I went through a difficult divorce. I left the family home, took my 2 little boys with me, they were 6 and 8, and I moved back to Buckinghamshire. And I started a contracting business where I was bringing the Kiwis in and the Aussies in to do shearing and lambing, and we were doing all sorts of agricultural contracting. And once again, I was working really, really, really hard to make others wealthy. And at the end of each month, I was always broke. So having gone through the divorce, having had 18 months of struggle, I'd got to that position where I just woke up one morning and I thought there has got to be more to life than the struggle. There's got to be more to life than working myself into the ground and not seeing any real tangible results for my effort at the end of each month. And so I had a particularly tough week, and I remember as if it were yesterday, I'd got the kids off to school. I've been in the lambing sheds all night. I was really, really tired. I got back home having a cup of coffee. I knew I had to go and do the horses, but you know, when you're really tired, you're like tired, bone tired. I almost didn't feel I had the energy to get up and leave the house, but I knew I had to. And the postman arrived and he dropped on the doormat 4 letters. I went and picked them up, and the first letter was a letter from the electricity board, £80 electricity bill. And I just shook my head in disbelief because I didn't have £80. The second letter was the car tax on my car, and I looked out the window at my car and I thought, God, it's not even worth taxing. The third letter was from my landlord, and he was putting the rent up on the farm cottage that I was renting off him. And I looked around at the farm cottage and I just, you know, in disbelief, wondered how he could increase the rent by £100 a month for a house that really was not in a fit state to have people living in it. It was a pretty basic house. But it was the fourth letter that made me have that paradigm shift, that changed my thinking in a heartbeat and made me realise that if my life was going to change, I had to change. And that was a letter from the school inviting the children to go on a 2-day trip to the coast And it was only, I think it was only about £60 per child, £48 per child, and I couldn't afford it. And I was the only person in the school whose children didn't go on that trip. And that to me was heartbreaking, but also it was a pivotal moment in my business, in my life, in my making some very, very strong decisions. Because in that moment, I had a paradigm shift and I just said, enough is enough. I am not prepared to live a life of mediocrity anymore. I am not prepared to get by. I am not prepared to juggle the few pounds that I've got each month to pay one bill, to save a bit more, to pay another bill and have nothing to have a good life. Enough. And I think it's really amazing when we have those paradigm shifts that I believe when we start thinking differently and we have that shift, I believe that the universe rearranges itself and we see things differently, we feel things differently, we recognize different things, and therefore we become different people. You see, I decided enough was enough. And interestingly, in that moment that I decided enough was enough, I kind of lifted my head and started looking around me. Interestingly, within 4 months, I met John. He was also a single parent going through some very similar tough times. And a few months later, I got a phone call from a friend of mine who said, Jayne, I know you've been looking for something. I think I found something which could be perfect for you. Let's have a chat. And there were two things that resonated with me when we had a chat. First of all, he was so excited. And, you know, I'd never heard Chris so excited. And so that was intriguing. To hear him so passionate, so animated, just so enthralled by what he had found. So therefore, that was really exciting for me. And the second thing he said is, he said, you know, Jayne, this is a business whereby you don't need any experience to get started. And also, you can decide how much you want to make. And I can tell you now, that was music to my ears. For the first time in my life, someone was saying that potentially I could earn what I was prepared to work for. So we decided to go and meet him. And I remember going to meet him. We didn't have technology like this. We didn't have all the glitz and the glam that we've got today in forever. I remember going to meet him at the Toddington services on the M1 with John. And we tucked ourselves into the back of the services. There were people everywhere. And Chris took out a bit of paper and he started sharing, handwriting the history of forever, and he drew out the marketing model. And I have to say, I didn't get it. I didn't understand any of it. It was so new to me, so different, so alien, if you like. But my heart was saying, Jayne, this feels good, and my gut intuition was telling me to follow through. So we took a little bit of information with us, and it was literally an A4 photocopied piece of paper. And on that A4 photocopied piece of paper in black and white, there was Spanish on one side, there was Chinese on the other side, but there were some pictures of the plantations, the aloe fields, the harvesting, and some other forever stuff. And I remember coming home and saying to John, this feels really, really, really good. We need to do something about it. And he said, no, timing's not right. You know, we're about to move in together. We're about to go on a camping holiday. So I must admit, I rang up Chris and I said to Chris, I said, no, not now, Chris, the timing's not good. Now, here's a valuable lesson for all of you. Probably the most valuable lesson I'm going to share right now. And that is, the fortune is in the follow-up. Because even though I said no to him in that moment, even though I was excited, even though I didn't get it, but my gut intuition was telling me to follow it through, right at that moment, for the next few weeks, the timing wasn't right. Now, interestingly, he could have said, okay, and he could never have contacted me again. And that's what I believe a lot of FBOs do. They're so terrified by the word no, that when they get a no, they never bother following that person back up again. But let me ask you all a question. If he had not followed me up, if he had not had the foresight to say to himself, I'm going to give them a call in about 6 weeks' time, my life would not be what it is today. And the 1 million people I have in my team probably would not be in forever. Some of them might have been through other avenues. But can you imagine the impact of him not calling me back? Anyway, he did call me back. 6 weeks later, we'd moved house, we'd had a camping holiday, and we were ready to talk some more. And I remember going up to Birmingham to meet the managing director, who was then a guy called Dusty Green, in a very small little office in Selly Oak. And we met with him and we asked him so many questions. And what I loved about the guy was the fact he was so open and so honest, so transparent and so authentic. You know, he didn't tell us what we wanted to hear. He told us what we needed to hear. You know, we asked him about the products. We asked him about the marketing model. We asked him all sorts of questions. I remember saying to him, come on, Dusty, you know, if this marketing model is so incredible, tell me about all the people in the UK that are doing really well right now. And he said to me, he said, well, Jayne, I can't tell you about anybody doing really well right now because we've really only just been open a few months. We're just getting our feet under the table. We're just getting started. But there will be people that will do really well. You'll see. And I said, well, what about this travel in this car? I said, is there anybody that's traveling or got the car yet? He said, no, not yet. But there will be, you'll see. And it was such an honest, authentic, ethical conversation that for us, it just ticked all the boxes and we decided to get happily involved. And that was on the 13th of August, 1993. Now, we purchased our box, and I have to tell you, you know, back 26 years ago, money was tight. We didn't have any money. And we made the decision to buy the box on our credit card. And we worked out that the repayments for the box was £17 per month. And I said to myself, if I can't make £17 per month in this business to pay back the investment in my box, I must be doing something very, very, very wrong. So we ordered our box, we went home and we waited with anticipation. And a few days later, the courier arrived and dropped it off for us. Oh my goodness, I can remember being so excited I was ready to pop, but equally being panicked, thinking, what have I done? And then I was excited again, ready to explode, and then I had this mild attack of panic again. And I'm sure many of you feel the same way. And the reason I felt that way was because, you know, I was a farmer. That was my background. You know, John was corporate. He came from a corporate background, and before that, he was, what was he? He was a surveyor. And so he didn't have any idea about this kind of product range or network marketing either. And I must admit, I kind of got the box and put it on the kitchen table. I thought, what do I know about aloe? What do I know about all of these products? It was, you know, am I just being crazy? I'm a farmer. What do I know about all of these products? But here's the thing. I was excited because for the first time in my life, someone had shown me a better way. Someone has shown me a better way than the traditional methods that we are conditioned to believe are the way that we can secure our financial future. And so we put the box on the kitchen table and we started to use all the products. Now I remember opening the products and rubbing them on. It was this product that got me excited initially. This is the Aloe Propolis Cream, and the reason this got me so excited is because our little boy had quite a long-standing skin condition for 6 years that nothing the doctors could do would help him. And so when we used the Propolis Cream, when we used the liquid soap to bath him in, and when he started drinking aloe, we saw the most incredible results. I mean, incredible results. So we were really, really passionate about those 3 products. However, I remember quite clearly, as if it was yesterday, taking out the bottle of gel. Now, of course, it wasn't in this neat little 330, and it wasn't in the big 1 litre bottle. It was in the old jug that we used to know. And I remember taking a glass, pouring a huge glass of it, and having a big swill. And in doing so, I can remember it as if it were yesterday. I went, oh my goodness, what is that? And I said to John, I said, this is not very great, you better taste it. And he tasted it and he said, no, he said, I don't think that tastes right. So I rang up Chris and I said, hey, Chris, I said, you know that gel, that yellow stuff in the box? Well, all the other products, we love them. But that aloe vera gel, I said, it doesn't taste right. I think it's gone off. Can you give me a new one? And he laughed and he said, what do you mean it's gone off? And I said, well, it tastes kind of strange. And he said, no, Jayne, that's what aloe vera tastes like. And I remember putting down the phone and turning to John and saying, we're going to build a business with a product that tastes like that. I'm not drinking it, you're drinking it. And he looked at me and said, I'm not drinking it, you're drinking it. And I said, no, you're drinking it. And if you don't drink it, you're in the spare room tonight. And we laughed about that. And he did start drinking it. And to our amazement, into my amazement, within a relatively short amount of time, I had an amazing night's sleep. And you're probably asking, why did you sleep well? Well, it really, really helped with some congestion that John had. And I had a great night's sleep because he wasn't snoring so much. Anyway, as a result, I started drinking the aloe. It made me feel really good. It flooded my body with nutrition. I had loads of energy, and it was the most incredible product. And I've not stopped drinking it for 26 years. In fact, I drink 2 to 3 of these a day because I'm so busy, so active, and I literally can't get enough of this stuff. I absolutely love it. But the thing is, when you get your box, and I see this a lot with a lot of FBOs, is they don't use all the products. They may pick out 1 or 2. They may pick out a tooth gel. They may pick out the deodorant. They may, wash their hands, but they don't take the whole range and immerse themselves in the product. And my advice to you right now, to all of you who've got a brand new box, or maybe have been in forever for a couple of 3 months and have not yet got that box opened every single product, taken every single product, read up on every product in that box, then my advice to you is do it now. This is your toolbox for the future. This is not just a box of product for you to kind of leave on the, in the hallway. You need to open the box. You need to immerse yourself in all the products. You need to familiarize yourself with the product, because the products that you use are the products that you are going to retail. And if you're not using a product, certainly from my experience, it's very, very difficult to recommend a product that you have no personal relationship with. When I talk about the Propolis cream, I talk about it with deep passion, deep fondness, and a real love, because this product changed my little boy's life. Now, I can't pick up a brochure and read from the brochure what this product does. It's not the same. But when I talk from the heart with real passion, people feel that, and people buy you first and product and opportunity second. So I can't emphasize enough the importance of using every single product. So what you need to do is you need to get them all out. You need to spread them all around the home. You need to take any products that you've got in the home that are similar to the other products, put them in a box and put them away in the cupboard. And then you need to give all of these a real good chance. And if at the end of a month or 2 months or 3 months, you don't like the products, then send them back, stop doing forever, put your old products back on the shelf and live the rest of your life. Nothing much will change in your life, but live the rest of your life. However, if you do what I did, which is use all the products, embrace the products, familiarize yourself with the key benefits of each product, then I promise you, you are going to have a life which is going to change, which is going to be enhanced, which is going to bring a lot of happiness and joy, a lot of fulfillment, a lot of personal development, and so, so, so much more. So use the products. Now, once you start using the products and you start getting familiar with it, what you need to do is you need to look at the business in 2 key areas, because your box is your toolbox. In that box, not only is there a selection of products, but there is all of the literature, the receipt books, there's the brochures, there's the order forms, there's also your launch cards. So you've got everything in there. It's the perfect business in a box. It's a compact business in a box. It becomes your shop window. It becomes your personal use. It becomes your retail box. It becomes your... Whoops, I think Siri is having a chat with me. It becomes your business opportunity box. Everything is in that box. So once you're familiarizing yourself with the products, then what you need to do is you need to begin to have what we call a retail strategy. And a retail strategy is really, really important, because what we're looking to do is we're looking now to begin to not only use the products ourselves, but begin to share the products with other people. Now, when I first started, I started on the 13th of August 1993. So about now, this time of the month, 26 years ago. And I remember the way that we engaged with potential prospects then is very different to the way that we engage with prospects now. I mean, literally in the last 10 weeks, everything that's been familiar to us in the way that we've built our business has changed beyond all recognition. And that's okay. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. We're all okay with it. We have been agile. We have been fluid. We have been able to adapt and apply really quickly. And if anything, we're having more success now with the way that we're building our businesses online than we did when I started 26 years ago. And that's why I am so super excited about the business right now, because the reach and the potential is incredible. But let me tell you what I did in my first 2 weeks of being in Forever. Now, you've got to bear in mind, started midway through the month. There were no meetings, there were no trainings, there was no advisory board, there was no beautiful head office, there was no Zoom calls. We didn't even have mobile phones, there was no Facebook, there was nothing. There was myself and John with a flip chart and a box of products. That's it. However, I did realise that I was passionate about the product, and I did realise that I wanted to share the product with as many people as possible. So my strategy then was very, very simple. Exit my home, go and have a coffee, go and have a glass of wine, go and see some friends, take my product with me and let them see the product and feel the product. So I was quite canny in the way I did it. I would go and have a play date with a friend after school. The kids would be playing. The kids would be in the garden playing. I would go into the house, put the box of products on the table and say nothing. I'd engage in conversation. I'd be chatting away. I'd make no reference to the box whatsoever. And eventually my friend would say, Jayne, what's in the box? And that was music to my ears, because the moment somebody said, what's in the box, that was my ticket to open it, because they were actually saying, Jayne, show us what's in the box. In other words, it was them coming to me rather than me going to them. Bit of reverse psychology there. So I would then open the box and I would get the products out one at a time, and I would share our personal stories. You see, I didn't know anything other than the personal stories, because there was no Louise Riley, there was no advisory board, there was so little information on the products that we had to go purely by personal story. But by sharing personal stories, by sharing a little bit about aloe, because there was a book called, The Silent Healer, which had the history of aloe in, so we could read up about how and why aloe worked. And all I would do was, with real passion, in about 15 minutes, share the product. And before you knew it, a little pile of product that they wanted would be put on one side. I would take the order, they would pay me, I would place the order, take the order back, job done. And that's what I did for 2 weeks. I literally, around my kids, around the job, around the horses, around the sheep, I literally was everywhere. And it was so exciting. I was super pumped by this, because it was my business. I was in control. It wasn't me working hard for somebody else. I was working hard for me. At the end of that 2 weeks, I had retailed 8 case credits worth of product. And that's pretty good, 26 years ago. I had retailed 8 case credits worth of product, but more importantly, I had recouped the entire investment into my box and had made a healthy profit. So it's amazing what you can do when you just let go of any fear, let go of any anxiety, and just go, this is my business. I love these products. I'm going to share them with everybody. Now listen, let me just fast forward to today. How do you start formulating your retail strategy today? Well, it's really, really easy. You need to get together with your sponsor and you need to work out a plan where literally every single day you're doing something to engage with potential customers who you can share the product with. And one of the quickest ways I get a brand new FBO started is with what I call a WhatsApp launch. It's really, really easy. You need the latest version of WhatsApp, just to update it. And then you open WhatsApp, and what you do is you go to a friend that you've been communicating with, and you tap the video icon and you call them. And when you call them, obviously there's two of you now on the call. And what you would then do, so if I'm ringing my new FBO and I've got her on the call, I would then get her to tap the top right-hand corner of the screen, and a little round circle comes up with a little person in and a plus sign. Tap that, and she can now add 2 more people to the WhatsApp call. So there am I, sitting here at home. She's the brand new FBO. She's got 2 of her friends on WhatsApp, and on her behalf, I will do a little 10 minutes WhatsApp launch on the products. Now, I'm not going to cover all of them. I probably will talk about 6 products. It'll take 10 to 15 minutes. It's really cool. It's really fun. It's very, very personal, and you get some brilliant, brilliant results. So, you know, you could do a little WhatsApp launch every day for your first week. So that's 15 minutes a day with 2 different people every single day and your sponsor. So you can begin to watch what your sponsor says, learn what she says, watch how your friends respond, take the orders, get the orders delivered, or get them ordering through your Forever website. And therefore, by the end of the week, you'll have done, all being well, at least a case credit, and you will have made yourself £30, £40 profit. Not bad for 15 minutes work a day. And you're doing it from home. You don't have to worry about travel. You don't have to worry about social distancing, and it's really good fun. You can do the same on Facebook Messenger. Facebook Messenger allows you to put 8 people onto a call, although I think that Facebook have just changed that, and actually they're now competing with Zoom, and they're taking up to, I think Facebook has got a platform where you can have up to 40 or 50 people. However, for your launches, you want to keep them really tight and small and personal, because you can have a lot more fun with a smaller group than you can with a bigger group. So if you want to have maybe 6 or 8 people onto a product demo, then use a Facebook Messenger launch, or you can use Zoom. And Zoom is free for the first 40 minutes. Little bit more complicated to learn, but nevertheless, it's part of the platforms that are available to you in order to begin to share the products with other people. So there is really no excuse. There's no reason why you can't be talking to people every single day about the product. And certainly with the team that I'm coaching right now, all of this is part of the strategy that we're working on and getting people comfortable with. And retailing is higher now than it's been for years. And I think it's because people know they need our products. They trust in the brand because it's such a safe brand with longevity, and because we're totally vertically integrated, they kind of know the journey of the aloe, where it's come from, how it's been processed. So there's a real brand loyalty towards the product. So really what you need to be doing is you now need to be looking at your business in 7-day chunks. And what you need to be doing is saying, right, I'm going to plan my business from Sunday to Sunday. It's always Sunday to Sunday. It's the best way to build your business. And you need to be saying, what activity am I going to do every day from Sunday to Sunday with making people aware of the fact that I'm using these products, I'm marketing these products, I want to share them with them, and looking at ways that you can engage with them. You could do a Clean 9 launch, which is great fun. And I haven't got time to go into all the detail, but you could get 2 or 3 people to join you on doing the C9 together. You could then bring other people into the group. There's so much that you can do with the C9. There's so much that you can do with our core products. And it's all about having that retail strategy. So once you've got your head around the retail, people say to me, well, you know, how quickly can I get to the part where I'm recruiting? And I say immediately, because recruiting and retailing go hand in hand. You know, by the time I got to the end of my first 2 weeks in the business, to the end of August, I'd recouped my investment into my box. I'd gone out and done my 8 case credits. I'd made money. I was massively excited. as I went into September, which was my first full month in Forever, I began to realise that actually the marketing model I needed to get familiar with. And it was really funny because my sponsor didn't know much more than I did. There wasn't any real trainings on the marketing model. And I remember ringing up the MD, he was the only person we could ring. And I said to him, Dusty, can you please tell me about the marketing model again? And I'm no good with numbers. I am really number dyslexic, number challenged. That's why I never do the VAT return. I let John do it because seriously, I get phone numbers back to front, figures back to front. So I needed him to explain it to me time and time again. Every time he explained it to me, I'll go, okay, I get it. And I put the phone down and a day later I go, can you just explain that again to me? And I put the phone down and I say to John, right, come on, we've got it. And we would practice on each other. And then suddenly we couldn't remember something and we'd ring up our Dusty again and say, Dusty, just explain that once more. And eventually we began to understand it. But what was really evident was, as we went into our first full month in the business, that we needed to embrace the recruiting part of the business. And this is where my box took on a whole new meaning. So we realized that the first position on the marketing plan was that of a supervisor. We were assistant supervisors on 35%. A supervisor worked off 38% plus a 3% bonus on their team. But the key position on the plan was that of manager at 48%, personal rebates, bonuses, etc. So I'm not very numerate, but I thought, well, 48 is bigger than 35. You clearly make a very good income as a manager. That's where I need to be. And in order to get to manager, I now realized I needed to start recruiting. So we made a list. And, you know, I could do a whole training just on this bit. I fell into the trap, as I'm sure many of you will have done, of when you write your who do you know list, I prejudged everybody I knew. And I only put 38 people on my list, and these were all of my friends who were broke, negative, complainers, always glass half full, half empty, not half full. They were the, looking back now, they were probably the hardest prospects because they were always moaning about something. But at the time, it felt comfortable to me to talk to people that were, I don't know, maybe not, these were people that were not as successful. These were people that I just felt comfortable talking with. And I left off my list all of my successful friends, all my doctor friends, my lawyer friends, my very senior in farming friends. I left out of all the professional people, all the successful people, because I prejudged them and thought they won't need this business. This business is only for people who are broke and need to make money. Oh, how wrong was I? How wrong was I? But that's another story. And maybe I'll do another training on how to expand a list, how to look for the good people, how to engage with them, what to say, etc. But for now, because I haven't got a lot of time, let me just talk to you about what happened in my second month. So had this list of 38 people and rang up a friend called Pam, and I didn't tell her very much because I didn't really know what to say. And I just said, can I come and see you? I've got something I want to show you. And I guess that was enough because she said, sure, come and see me. Let's have a glass of wine together. And I remember going round to her house. Now, remember, this is the first person I was going to see to share the business with them. and John and I had written like a little presentation in a notebook so I could turn the page. You know, this is the company, turn the page. This is the product, turn the page. This is a little bit about how you make money, turn the page. It was so, looking back, it was so cute, such fun, but it was simple. I mean, anybody could do it. It was like 4 pages, turn the page and share the business. Nowadays, I think things get a bit complicated. So I went to see her and I put the box on the table. I went to get my book out and she said, Jayne, is that aloe vera? And I said, yes, it is. And before I could say anything, she said, well, whatever you're doing, I'm in. I said, sorry? She said, I'm in. I love aloe. I lived in America for a while and I used to love taking aloe. It used to help me with some problems I had with mobility in my fingers. She said, but I can't find it in the UK. If that's aloe, I'm in. I want to do what you're doing. And I was I was so shocked, I didn't know what to do with her. I said, okay, right, well, leave it with me and well, let's just have a look at all the products now and I'll come back to you and then I'll tell you what to do to get you registered. And I remember calling up Dusty the next day and saying, I've got somebody who wants to join, what do I do? And he talked me through the application form, which was then a 4-part form. It was really interesting. And she was the first person I ever spoke to about the business, and she said yes. And I remember going home to John and saying, this is easy, piece of cake. We're going to be diamonds in no time at all. Little did I know that that's not the reality, because about the next 20 people I spoke to all said no. They laughed at me. They said I was mad. They said I was crazy. They said it would never work. They said, go back and get a proper job. This network marketing thing isn't for you. And I was devastated at that, because no one had warned me about rejection. No one had warned me about how I would feel when people I cared about said no. And it hurt. And I took it very, very personally. And I guess the message I'm getting across to you here is, not everybody will see what you see on day one. Not everybody is going to be as excited as you are on day one. Not everybody is even going to want to join you on day one. But you have to understand that that's part of the process, and it's okay. You see, back in the day when I first started, I didn't really have anybody to coach me through this part of well, I had no one to coach me at all, really. I'm pretty self-made in the business. But I had to learn how to handle rejection, and I had to learn how to manage it, because the first time that I got rejected, I can assure you, I didn't do anything on my business for 2 days. And you have to not fall into that trap. We have to be touching our business every single day. So I got my head down and went to work. And by the end of the month, I'd managed to recruit 3 people. I recruited a guy called Shane, who was someone that John knew, and he'd been made redundant. So he was very, very open to the business. His wife wasn't. It wasn't an easy person to recruit, but they eventually joined right at the end, at the end of the month. And I recruited a guy called Paul, who I'd known for some time. And I remember Paul coming round to our house to see us. And we went through the business, and he said, well, I haven't really got a clue what you're talking about, but you're clearly very excited, so I'm going to join, because I've got a couple of friends who might like to do this. So by the end of my first full month, I had got 3 people in the team, myself and John, that's 4 of us collectively. And as a team, we'd done 22 case credits. And that resulted, with the 8 case credits from the 2 weeks in August, in the 25 you need to become a supervisor. So we got promotion. And that was incredible. It was incredible, because what it proved to us was the business worked. And whilst there were a lot of people that said no, there were people that said yes. There were people that were looking, that needed, that wanted to be part of our team, that were caught up in our passion, our excitement, had the same vision of us. So for those, I guess the lesson I learned in the fact that I got rejected so much was 2 things. Don't take rejection personally. They're not rejecting you. They're just saying the business isn't right for them at the moment. And the second thing, a no today is not a no in 6 or 8 or 10 or 12 weeks' time. So if anybody ever says no to me now, and here's a great little bit of advice for you. If anybody ever says no to me now, I say that's absolutely no problem. It's fine, Sue. I've just called you out of the blue. I know that from what you said, the timing isn't right for you at the moment. However, I happen to think with your people skills, your communication skills, and your ambition, that you could be incredible in Forever, that you could be very successful. And also, I'd love to work with you. I think we'd have a lot of fun together, not only changing your life, but the lives of many other people. So can I keep in touch with you? Can I maybe give you a call in about 8 weeks' time, let you know how things are going and see what's going on in your life? And that no, 99% of the time, goes into a yes, which you can then put into your diary for 8 weeks from today. You make a little note in the diary on the profile sheet about the conversation you'd had with Sue. And then when you follow up, you pick up on where you left off. It's really, really very simple, but it's part of the strategy that you need to learn in order to begin to move your business forward. So recruiting now became a very, very powerful part of building the business for me. And that box was invaluable. You see, the box is a tool to go and show people the products, to let them try the products. But the box is equally as important when you go and share the business. Because when you're doing a one-to-one, which of course we can't go and meet people to do a one-to-one now, but we can do it online. There is a part in the one-to-one where you open up the box and with great passion, you take some of the products out and you let your prospect hold the product. Because when a prospect holds the product and they almost take ownership of it, they open the tube, they smell it, they rub it on, then it becomes more tangible, more real. So whenever I'm doing a one-to-one, I take my box with me. You see, my box is my business building tool. It is not just a box of products that stays at home in the hallway with me just using one or two of them because those are the ones I fancy. I use all the product. My product goes with me when I see a retail customer. It goes with me when I do a one-to-one. What was really interesting is by the end of my second full month in the business in October, the team of 3 had become 15. And all we were doing every single day was using the product, sharing the opportunity, and teaching others to do the same. But we were doing it with so much fun, so much passion, so much energy that we were very attractive to be around as a team because everything was possible. The energy was high. And I think that's very attractive for people when they see that because they want to be part of it. So we created some really great business presentations. I used to do every Saturday morning a little training in the house, which was great fun. Kids running around, you know, but it was great fun. It was recognition, it was coaching, it was best practice, it was sharing ideas, it was making plans for the next week, and off we go again. And we'd have a business presentation, and the following week we'd all get together, we'd come together, we'd make plans, we'd recognise, we'd get best practice, and off we go again. And by the end of my second full month, the team had done 59 case credits. So with the 22 from August, and the 22 from September, and the 59 from October, I'd done over 75, which meant that we were assistant manager and another pay rise. And the bonus check was £601. I'll never forget it. So exciting. I was, you know, I just couldn't wait to get out of my day job and be focusing on this. But I was still working really hard in the day job, and so was John. This was very, very part-time, around 4 kids as well. So no excuses. You know, you can make excuses or you can make money, but you can't make both. That is a fact. That is a given. So if you want to make money, no excuses, learn what you need to learn and apply it every single day. Now in November, we really, really went to work with the team. And interestingly, it only went from 15 to 23 people in the team. So not a huge people gathering, not a huge sort of recruiting month, but it was a great productivity month. Everybody now was, you know, 4 CCs and more, the serious ones were 4 CCs and more. You know, we got real duplication going on. We got a couple of people as supervisor. You know, it was really beginning to grow. And in the month of November, we did 98.9 case credits. And it was amazing, went manager. That was 14 weeks to get to manager. It was absolutely incredible. But as I say, we didn't count the hours. We didn't put anything off. We sacrificed up front. You know, we turned off the television. We stopped doing some social stuff. We literally said, we're going to work our socks off until we get to manager, because once we get to manager, then we could readjust, balance things out a bit more, get ready for the next growth period. So it was a matter of saying, we need to get to manager, we need to have a sense of urgency, we need the money, and so that's what we did. And our bonus check, the month that we went to manager, went from 600 to £1,658, and we were ecstatic. So my box was serving me really, really well. I think by now I think I was on my 3rd box. I'd worn the first 2 out. You know, I'd used all the products, got battered and bruised. So I think I bought my 3rd box to be building a business with. So, you know, I was reinvesting into the business by making sure my box was usable, that the products were there as samples, but they were always there, If they were unopened, I could retail directly from the box. So the box was the real backbone of the business, because without it, you know, how could I show the business? How could I show the product? So it was absolutely vital that I had the box with me at all times. So with that in mind, and, you know, kind of thinking about, you know, how you use the box now from a prospecting point of view, it's really, really simple. You know, I reach out to people every single day on either WhatsApp, on Facebook, on phone calls from my Who Do You Know list. I'll have a chat with them. If they want a video, I'll send them a video. If they want a one-to-one, I'll do an online one-to-one. Once I've done that, I will then invite them to the online business presentation. As a result of the business presentation, I then always agree a time to follow up with a phone call to answer all their questions, and if they're ready, to get them happily involved. So I can do that as effectively online as I could do when we were not in lockdown. Because here in Wales, we've got another 3 weeks of lockdown. We can't move around. And frankly, I'm not too certain if I want to move around too much at the moment, especially as I've got my dad at home who's struggling with lung cancer at the moment. So, you know, I'm quite happy building online. As soon as we can move around a bit more freely, we'll see what that looks like. But the whole process is really, really, really simple. And all you have to do is learn the process and plug into it. You know, if you think about it, you've got your Facebook, you've got your Instagram, you've got your Who Do You Know list. You know, you pull these contacts together, you begin to look at the people you're going to speak to every day, you begin to profile them, you begin to look at how you want to reach out to them. If it's going to be a message, if it's going to be a text message, if it's going to be a phone call, you take a moment to think about that phone call, think about the message you want to share with them. Once they engage with you, it's all about engagement. Engagement is vital. You're going to engage with them on a call, and you're going to have a chat. You're going to build rapport. You're going to ask them how they're doing, how they're getting on. You're going to listen to what's going on. And then you're going to say, look, the reason that I'm calling is because I've got something I want to share with you. And then you talk a little bit about what you're doing, but you bring in why now is the most important time that there is to be looking at this business. We have a perfect home-based business. We have a perfect online business, a business that you can work online locally, nationally, and globally, building multiple income streams. We have a business that is totally flexible, that you can build around homeschooling, any work that you may be doing with your job at home. And we have a business that we can share with you that cannot be taken away from you, is safe and secure in these troubled times. In fact, business is booming here in the UK and all around the world. And if they're interested to find out more, video or one-to-one, get that in front of them, and then it's on to a BP. Once they've done the BP, you give them a call, ask them what they like best, what resonated with them, answer their questions and get them registered, send an online application form, they order their box, the box is sent directly to them, and the minute they've got their box, you then get them ready for their first planning meeting. So it's really, really simple. And then when they've got their box, literally I just do a Zoom call and I get them to put their box on the table. We open the box. So I'm working the box with them via a Zoom call, and they take the products out. I'll do a bit of product training on each box. They'll take the literature out. I'll tell them what that's for. Then I start planning their retail strategy. Then I start planning their recruiting strategy, and off we go. It's that simple. It really is that simple. And it's the perfect business for everybody to be working from home right now. I can't tell you how proud I am to be involved in this company. You know, when I think of what they've achieved in over 160 countries around the world in 10 short weeks of this virus taking hold, it's incredible. Production is up, products are out to people, every office now is working from home, the company's running smoothly. It's just incredible. It's such a privilege to see what they've done and how committed they are to making sure that we can function in building our business in these troubled times. Just amazing. Just amazing. So you couldn't be in a better place. And, you know, that's why I'm as excited today as I was when I first started. So let's just wrap up by saying, let's just have a look at what this box is. You know, I've talked a lot about this box as being a box of product that you go and share with your consumers, product that you share when you show the business. But when this whole box is empty and it's just a box, is it ever empty? No, it's not. You see, this box is more than the product. It's more than just what you buy for £199. This box is your future. This box is your security. Nobody can ever make you redundant. Nobody can ever tell you how much you can earn. No one can ever tell you when you can have a week off or 2 weeks off or a month off. No one can ever tell you you've got to go back into an office because you can work this from home. This is your security. This is your dreams, your hopes, and your ambitions. This is your goal. This box is going to make everything that you want, that you're prepared to work for, a reality. You know, when I joined Forever, I had some goals and dreams, and I truly believed I would never achieve them working in a job. Because in a job, I could never afford to achieve my goals. My biggest goal was to put my children through private education, and the schools that I'd chosen for them were going to equate to close to 100,000 a year. You know, it was a lot of money. You know, as they got older, it was 2,000 a month as they started boarding, and, you know, being in the senior school, it was a lot of money. I could never do that on a farming income. You know, I just couldn't do it. I was barely existing on a farming income. And there are many of you on this call that have probably have been in the same position, who are in the same position right now. You can't do the things you want to do because your income is set for you by a boss. There's nothing wrong in that, but you mustn't stay in that place all your life, because I don't ever want you to get to your golden years and look back and say, if only, I wish I could have. Because the clock is ticking for all of us, and time is the only commodity that we can't buy. No matter how much money we have, we can't buy extra time. So we need to use our time wisely. We need to make right now count. And that's why I'm so excited. I'm deeply sorry for the people that have been affected by the virus. And I'm deeply grateful, heartfelt grateful for the NHS and the key workers. They literally are keeping the UK running. But aside from that, we have a responsibility to take control of our futures and not leave our future in the hand of somebody else. So your dreams are in this box. Whatever it is that you want, if you're prepared to work for it and learn for it and apply for it, it's right in this box. Your personal growth and development is in this box. Gosh, when I joined Forever, I will just tell you, I was pretty battered and bruised. I'd gone through a tough divorce that had left me mentally scarred, very mentally scarred. It was a very traumatic time for me. And my self-belief and my confidence was at an all-time record low. And I remember, you know, when I started Forever, when I said mild panic, but excitement, mild panic, but excitement. It was tough for me to talk to people. It was really tough for me. When I got rejected, I can't tell you how badly that hurt me, because it was like someone was rejecting me personally. When people's opinions weren't very nice, you know, it was tough in the early days because I was so fragile. I think that's the best word. But one of the things I love about Forever, the company and the community, is that we're here to help you. You know, we're here to take you by the hand and say, come on, we'll show you. We won't do it for you. Because if we do it for you, we teach you nothing. You know, it's a bit like the fable. If you teach a man to fish, you feed him for a day. If you fish for a man, you feed him for a day. And if you teach him to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. That's exactly the same with this business. You know, we will show you what to do. The company have got incredible trainings. The teams have got incredible trainings. You know, in my team, the trainings are amazing. When I look at the top leaders in the group and who they've become and what they've achieved and the way that they present themselves and share with all of the brand new people, I'm humbled and I'm proud of each and every one of them. So the growth and the development is incredible. This industry allows you to become more than you ever dreamt. This company allows you to become the best version of you. So personal growth and development is absolutely incredible. And then, of course, you've got the legacy element of the business. And the legacy element of the business here, bottom right, for me, is the icing on the cake. And this is something that you all need to understand, what this box will give you. It's this box that gives you the legacy for future generations. When you register with Forever, you get a unique ID number. And that unique ID number is your number, your license to trade all around the world. That ID number is very, very valuable, because as you begin to build your business and begin to build an income, and you begin to scale your business over the weeks and the months and the years, you're going to be seeing a lot of money every single month that you earn. And there will come a point for all of us when we are no longer on this planet. And the beauty about the business is that ID number can be left to your loved ones, which means that the income from the business that you've built will be paid to your loved ones every single month. Now, we've seen it come into play, sadly, but excitedly as well. Lost a very dear friend of ours about 10, 12 years ago, maybe a bit longer than that now, about 15 years ago. She had 3 teenage children, young children, late teens. And when she passed away, she was making around about $9,000 a month. That passed on directly to her children. That's gone on now to be around about $30,000, $40,000 a month, because the business doesn't stop growing because she's no longer there. And every single month, that money is paid to those 3 children. What a legacy. And I know the 3 children, and I can tell you, whilst they miss their mother deeply, they are so grateful for the legacy. And so that's why I want you to see that this box is so much more than just a £200 box of product. And it's not until you see it as much, much more than a £200 box of products that you'll begin to take your business seriously. You see, there's a day that you get into network marketing, but nothing happens until the day that network marketing gets inside of you. That's when the magic happens. So let me leave you with a thought. The thought is that people are like sticks of dynamite. Their power is on the inside, but nothing happens until the fuse gets lit. Please, for all of you on this call, make sure that you have a great planning meeting with your upline. Make sure that you get your retail and your recruiting strategy in place. Make sure that you're absorbing all the products so you know what they all are and you can talk about them with passion. Put your manager plan in place. Commit to your goals. Have that emotional connection to them. Make this box work for you, but more importantly, you go and make the box work for you. I wish you nothing but great success, and I hope to meet you one day in the coming months, maybe somewhere around the UK or online. But more than anything, I wish you great success on your forever journey. Have a great day, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.